Stonebreaker organization just absolutely explode and become national sales rep to Instant Speeds. So let's welcome up Steve Stonebreaker.
Hey, let's get right in. Thank you. I actually called this on for Oz last night, and I asked him to send me an old picture of me. Does that look like him? When he showed that picture last night, that guy jamming on the guitar, I said, that looks just like the lead singer of Green Day. That's actually Billy Joe Armstrong. That's actually not Ian. But does that not look like him back in the day? I was like, that's got to be him, but he's not here, so I can't say what I was going to say to him. But let's go to the Apple TV. I'm going to get right into this, and I just want to chit chat about a couple things. I think you guys are hearing some reoccurring things today, and I want you guys to write this down if you can. I wrote down, success in business doesn't come without failure. Would you guys agree? Success in being Michael Phelps can come without failure. I guarantee you LeBron James will put up 30 plus points on Sunday night. Yeah. Why? Because he had quote-unquote, I guess you could call that temporary failure last time they played the Spurs, right? Not even only played the last 7 games. And then I thought about this. If I was new, and I remember when I was new, I had high levels of anxiety and I had low levels of confidence. Who can say they're with me on that when you're new, right? And I looked at this. I said, how can I lower anxiety and I can increase confidence? And if you're new, you should do everything down to be good at this business in a short period of time. I would be on TeamFreedom, and I would go to everything that you are lacking in, and I would spend time on all the webinars and all the audios in there, but in a very, very short period of time, because I knew once my anxiety went down and my confidence went up, I would be bulletproof, not maybe 100% successful on the kitchen table, but I would be confident, and with confidence comes less objections. You agree? And so be very aware of that, right? And when you have temporary setback, I wrote this down, don't get bitter. If you listen to Hector's call on Tuesday, which I would do 4, 5, 6 times a week, he says, don't get bitter, get better, right? And you need to understand, don't get bitter, get better. You've got to be bad to be good, you've got to be good to be great. And if you want to make big income, you've got to get great, right? And you're going to see a lot, and I picked this out when Ian was showing his train track there. He started in August of 06. Did you guys pick that up? He went to Assad in January, and all you are in here saying, I want to go RVP. Well, the great thing, Oakley, about going RVP is when you go RVP. When you decide to go RVP. And I think that's a very liberating truth, because he was in the business from August to January. He got a pay cut, even though it was in the church, had a defining moment, had a paradigm shift. Him and his wife, I guarantee, had a gut-wrenching, heartfelt, tearful night and said, honey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to call my upline. He called Assad. At that point, he made the decision, which is to put to death everything that could come in his way, right? Decide suicide, homicide. And then he went for it. And I want you guys to understand, you decide when you go RVP. And I'm going to talk about the crusade, and this is the reason why Art Williams actually got this thing going. Yeah, I know his butt was always burning, and he always wanted to be somebody, and he always, wanted to be special. But if his father wouldn't have died, if you look at the coordinated effects, his father passed away, mom suffered raising him and his siblings because they had an insufficient insurance policy. His nephew came over to their house on the birthday of the little family get-together and showed him the concept of buy term, invest the difference. In Art's words, got him mad on, right? Got pissed off, went and found an underwriter to underwrite him, wrote letters and whatnot, contacted all his fellow teachers and coaches, and said, you know what, I can go create an army, right? But prior to all this, the insurance industry was evil 100 years prior to Art even starting to come. Do you guys see that? They were right, they were doing bad things to people back in the 1800s, and all they really did, and simplify this, they took term insurance, because you can't make a lot of commissions on an individual term policy. You follow me on that? Not comparative to cash value. They took term, and all they did is they commingled it with some type of savings account. That's all whole life, universal life, variable universal life is they found something that's truthful, which is all what deceitful people do, is they mix a little bit of truth with a bunch of BS. You follow me on that? And if you want to lower your anxiety and increase your confidence, understand how this works, because we're number 7. Our company posted those numbers in last year's premium sold to the consumer. There's 6 companies above us that are selling this garbage still today to your people in your neighborhood, and you just need to like get your anxiety down and your confidence up by knowing how this crap works, because all it is term commingled with BS. So here's a lot of the books. You guys can see all this. And I would arm myself with this stuff, so when I'm sitting down with the consumer, I'm going to educate them on what's been written. There hasn't been a single book written on the evils of term. How does that make you feel? That should cause your anxiety to go down and your confidence go up day one. You're never going to see Susie or Dave Ramsey or Consumer Reports, anybody telling the masses, even though people don't watch this stuff. I needed to know very early on, because when I was new, I was getting to know Rafa, because Rafa came into my life as a cold contact. I was hired by a fitness client. He introduced me to this guy, and even though his language is not much better than it was 14 years ago, I was still very distrusting to introduce him to my limited warm market. I was because I didn't want my mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, my best friends calling me saying, "What the heck did you bring this guy over? What's he trying to sell?" You follow me on that? So I went and did all the research, honestly, prior to taking him out. Now, I don't recommend you do that, but my name meant more to me than making money and than anything else, and I know you do the same, right? So get your anxiety down, and here's this, the U.S. Senate, right, back in 1973, 4 years prior to our starting the company, did this big investigation on the evils of the insurance industry, and they actually came to their final conclusion of their entire hearing is that Congress should actually pass a law making this stuff illegal. Should that make you feel good that you stand for truth, right? Here's the Federal Trade Commission's report, and all this was a cost disclosure. And Jimmy Carter, who was the President of the United States, the FTC brought this to his attention. And the first time that the FTC was banned by a United States president to let this information become public information. He did not allow the FTC to publish just the cost disclosure of what's going on inside of these policies. But in this report in 1979, what they came to the conclusion of is people are losing billions of dollars a year, and this is back in the late 70s. So it's how evil are politicians today? You actually have to, when they speak, you have to actually go to the fact checker site and find out if they're telling you bullshit or not. And it's amazing, bullshit can be told on live media, and we have to decide whether it's truth or not, right? So it's going to get worse before it gets better, and how we're going to run these guys out of the business is by going out and getting bigger, right? We've all got to take Ian's philosophy, and some of us got to run with it. And as you know, in the company, we've got to grow our recruiting to 400,000 a year. Right now, we're about 200,000 a year. We've got to grow to 400,000 a year. We grow to 400,000 a year. We're doing $1 billion a year in cash flow to the field. Everybody will fear us. And they do now, but not like they should, right? And here's this thing, you get the facts, man. I think Chris has done a good job with this. This is one of my buddies. I actually put this policy in here. It's an adjustable life. World Financial Group sells an indexed universal life. Identical policy, right? He loved his wife, so he bought $1.5 million. He paid $750 a month, and $750 a month is not a lot of money, because we're advised to save how much of our monthly income? 10%, so that tells you he's making $7,500 a month. We all should be, so guess how they sell it? They sell it the same way we need to be selling by term invest the difference. We find that most families can set aside 10% of their monthly income to hit their retirement goals. Fortunately, you can save 20. If you're on a tight budget, 5-10%. They're just getting a commitment out of these families of 10%. 750 is going in. Option A doesn't mean good. Option A is going to mean something to say. But I did some research on this. The insurance industry is the only legalized industry that can actually charge people a year's of interest in advance. You guys know when you have a car loan, it's daily interest until you make the next payment. If you guys understand how mortgages work, they charge you 30 days of interest per payment. Even the evil cash title loan places, they charge you daily. It's just really, really high. The insurance industry legally charges you when you take a loan, and by whose money is it? It's your money, and they charge you a year's of interest in freaking advance. Is that unbelievable? On your money. And a lot of you, and I don't have time to really break this down, but point blank, you see here the gentleman's putting in $750 a month, $9,000 a year, guaranteed by the insurance company has how much the savings after the first 4 years? You know, after 5 years, what's 5 times 9,000? 45,000, and he's got 464. And I don't want you to get confused. The account in the middle is the mirage account. It's the make-believe account. It's the account that doesn't exist. Because if you go here to the surrender charge for the first 5 years is how much? Surrender charge really is why you have the minimum money there. Because if he tried to access his $2,100, he has $27,000 in fees to get at his $2,100, and that makes that negative of $25,000. They just put 0 there. So after the 5th year, he's got $28,289 minus the 27 and change is why he's got 464. Is that unbelievable? That's happening today more than term. And it's going to continually happen until we get upset, right? We get bigger. And all this is a 1-year term policy. From age 36 to 37, what does the decimal do? 38, 39, what's the decimal doing? So it's a 1-year term policy, commingled with BS. You follow me on that? So they do believe, this is how sick they are, they believe they're selling buy term, invest the difference. And I don't ever combat this. I don't ever say, hey, you got universal life? Oh, we've got to get some. It's terrible. I say, I just need to get together and show you my version of universal life. Because my version of universal life is a level term contract with an outside investment. You guys all with me on that? Oh, you got a whole life policy? Oh man, you need to watch the Dave Ramsey video. Sometimes you can, you follow me on that. Oh, let me just show you my version of whole life, and let me see if I can improve upon the return and upon the insurance risk. Makes sense? So, and I'm done on time. I wanted to get more into this with you guys, but I just want to let you guys know, you guys sell truth, just like Jim Higbee was saying. And when you sell truth, you should never have high anxiety and low confidence. The only reason you have high anxiety and low confidence, you haven't gone out and done it enough. So I recommend you get out and get super busy. Does that make sense? Equip yourself, if you're like me, with more facts and just, you know, I don't mean puff your chest up, but get to a point where you're proud of what you do and you go from, I don't want to bug people, to people would be bugged if they knew what I knew and I never shared that with them. Because when that happens is when you explode. Does that make sense? So appreciate you guys. I'll bring Greg back.